Hey everybody, welcome back to this. We are the game. I'm Michael. That's Luke, and we are going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals post their very close but frustrating loss to the Seahawks, and their game coming up against the Titans, and how that could be a get right game and how that'll play out. So with that, the Titans have their own struggles. Uh, I guess the big question we're going to take kind of a 1 through 4 down kind of approach to this. And the first question, the first down, if you will, is what do you think is the key for the Cardinals in approaching this game? What will be the major thing that they do to win this game? The key to victory here.
Yeah, so similar to your Cowboys, some of it is going to be like a roundabout effect. So we have the opposite problem of you in some ways, where you have one of the best passing offenses, and we have one of the worst, if not the worst.
Sure.
I think to get the passing offense going is more of a long-term step to success. I don't know that we need an elite passing game. Sorry, Tennessee. But to beat Tennessee this week, I don't know that you need to be elite. But we need to work towards getting it right. But for this game, I think it has to be the run game, oddly enough. And there's kind of two aspects of the run game. It's three really, but two aspects of the run game. One would be the running backs, and two would be the offensive line. Our offensive line looks like it's getting back Will Hernandez this week. For Cardinals fan, this is huge. We love this guy. He's a tone setter. He's a really good right guard. I'm excited to see the possibilities there. Tennessee looks like a team that you can run on. They're not going to run wild like Carolina last year or anything like that, but you can run on them. And our run game has been kind of under the radar, not amazing this year. It's been okay, but it's clearly been a step back, even beyond the loss of James Conner and Trey Benson and so on, which the Trey Benson one is a more recent thing, of course. It just hasn't been as prolific and as consistent as it was last year. So this would be a great game to try to get back on track if they can, which seems like a tall order when you've got Michael Carter and Emar DeMarcado and so on coming in to play on this one. But that would be a place to really cement this game as successful, is if you can get the run game going in ways that a lot of teams who have played the Titans so far this year have been able to, where they've been getting between 4 and 5 yards a clip. I think one team had almost 6, I think, for the course of the game. So you can get after them that way, and that would open things up for Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. and so on. So I think actually for us, the key in this one is establishing the run and getting back to this team's offensive identity as it's intended to be, which, as much as I'm not always happy about what that identity is trying to be or the way they're trying to accomplish it, it is what it is. And if that's going to be your focal point, then you need to be good at your focal point. So get the run game back in action, get it working the way it's supposed to. Hopefully Will Hernandez comes in and is pretty much in lockstep. He'll be playing with the same guys he was playing with last year before he got injured. So I don't anticipate a whole lot of ramp up time for that. So hopefully this will be the ideal game for that, especially as we move forward into preceding games. Not trying to overlook Tennessee. I'm low key scared that we're going to blow this one, but that would be my number one thing, is actually get the run game working as a concert between the offensive line and the running backs. So
no, that makes perfect sense. I think the only thing that I would add to that, and I don't think it's necessarily the key per se, but it's something I'd love to see, is really right now your passing offense, which has been pretty effective, is all Marvin Harrison and all Trey McBride, and a spattering of running backs in there as well. It's kind of like taking that next step to be part of that offense on a regular basis. Michael Wilson, for me, has been very frustrating in his consistency. Maybe he has moments. He's had some nice catches and all that. We were talking previously about Zay Jones and if he might be back or not. You need someone else to kind of get in there, because they've got to spread the ball around more to, I think, open that up as well. But no, that makes sense to me. Now the question on the other side of that coin is, Tennessee, I think fairly apparently has a young offense in particular. They've got a lot of parts that they're trying to figure out and get working together so that Cam can be successful. What do you see as their, not just the offense, but the team as a whole, their approach to the Cardinals? What do you think their step to success is, and how how do you expect the Cardinals to handle whatever that is?
Well, for them, I think their path to success there, if you want to call it that, whatever, is
Mhm.
getting after Kyler Murray. Last year, we had 30 sacks on the year that we allowed, and we have through 4 games allowed 13, I believe. We've already had a game where we allowed 6 and a game where we allowed 5. They have to see that as a vulnerability. This kind of goes back to my first point, but the other end of the offensive line's productive, or lack of production, if you want to look at it backwards. And I think getting after Kyler is part of that. And the other part of that, it's like step 1 and step 2, but like step 1 is actually you need to get up early. Like they need to establish a lead so that we're not just running the ball constantly. And then they can, pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. So getting pressure on Kyler Murray is going to be huge. And then again, for us, that goes back to my first point, which is we need to be running the ball effectively so that we're not forced into pass-only situations where Jeffrey Simmons and such can come after him. So I don't really want Kyler Murray to die. So let's avoid that. But for them, I think getting into that situation would give them a real shot at this game because they can just kill some drives if they could get a couple of sacks here and there.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Well, I'd love to see y'all, Will Hernandez in particular, stop. I don't want to see Kyler get massacred out there. Sorry, Kyler. That was not how I meant that to come on. But, like the prevention of that, because, I think when you're applying a lot of pressure to the line, you're leaving a lot of things open. Hopefully that turns into the passing game coming alive as well, or gaps for the running backs. I think it's a real opportunity for your running backs, these backup guys, to come in and show some value. I wonder if we're going to see Bam Knight. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, let's bring that down to a position group or a player that is going to be that big impact that you can see. You'd already called Trey Benson once. Some good calls on the impact player position. What do you see that as in this game?
Well, we really haven't seen that explosive game from this player yet this year. This is hard to say. It's like, keep an eye on this guy because everyone knows Trey McBride at this point, but he really hasn't had that game yet. Now, if you want a way for the passing offense to work as it relates to the wide receivers, having a danger over the middle of the field with your tight end is one way to do that, to draw all that attention. He's also a kind of underrated or not talked about as much blocker. He's pretty darn good. So getting the run game going, like he can really unlock this game, be a part of unlocking this game in both ways. So as much as he's different than the other 2 points I was saying to like avoid or try to reinforce, I think he could be a huge part in helping both of them. And I fully expect him to. He's a very consistent player thus far through however many years it's been now, 3, I guess. So I'm optimistic, but I think he is kind of the linchpin for this whole operation, even though he's not really a part of either group. Right. I'm interested to see how his usage is. And if he ends up being the feature this week and is just like, he's got 8 catches for 100 yards and yay, this is good. I'm perfectly fine with this.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that makes a lot of sense. Trey's a gem. Every team in the NFL was like, man, I wish we had Trey McBride. Mm-hmm. So no, he will definitely play a role. Like you said, he's very versatile in what all y'all can do with them. So it should be very interesting to see. Hopefully he has just a solid, kind of career day. That would be pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. All right. So finally, what do you see what's your prediction? And then what do you see as a score, give or take, for this game? Where do you see that? Is it a blowout? Is this a close game? What do you see?
So I'm gonna take a chance here and predict something of a blowout as a hope that we get right before we go on a stretch of some pretty tough games for our next 6 or 7 games, and really for most of the rest of the season. There's some tough matchups in there. So this is hopefully the get right game. I'm thinking we'll be able to score close to 30 points. Call it 30 just for the sake of whatever. And on the other side of this, I'm guessing they'll get a touchdown somewhere, but then we'll give up a ton of yards, but then hold them to field goals. So some denomination that adds up like that, like 16 or 19 points or something like that. So call it 30 to 19. It's not exactly a blowout at that point. It's just a 2-score game. But where it's obviously in hand well into the third quarter, and we can do what our coach loves to do, which is take his foot off the gas. So that would be me. 30 to 16, 30 to 19, something like that. I will say that's Cardinals winning, just in case. If someone wants to come, if we lose, I am accountable now. Like I did say Cardinals win. So, but yeah, that's somewhere in there is about what I'll pick for this one.
I'm all for it. That's got my vote. I'd love to just see them keep their foot on the gas. Sorry, Tennessee. Just don't stop. Just keep going. No, that sounds great. I hope that is exactly how that plays out during the 4 o'clock, the mid game. They're one of the 4:30, 4 o'clock. So during the mid game there on Sunday, hopefully we'll get a chance to watch some of it and keep up with it as it goes through. But that sounds good. Well, let's wrap it up there. Thanks everybody for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we're on our way to 100 subscribers. So please jump on board and join us on that trip. And we will see you again down the road. Thanks, everybody.